All right, Mr. Tom, let's talk about selecting and buying seeds, because over the winter, folks are going to get their seed catalogs and they're going to want to buy a lot of seeds. So let's help them out.
Well, first of all, the catalogs usually start showing up in November.
Okay.
So be patient. They'll be here in a week or two, if not a little bit longer.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the advantages of growing plants from seeds. Let's start with that.
Well, the advantage of growing plants from seeds is your selection is humongous. If you're like, for example, looking for the tomato plants that your grandmother used to grow, more than likely you'll find it in the catalog. So you got a tremendous selection of seeds. And the seeds catalogs also have a lot of information about the plants. General information about, say, for example, tomato plants, and then detailed information on each variety of tomato plants. It's fun. It's fun. And also you can save money. Substantial amount of money if you're doing a lot of seeds.
Okay.
But if you only want to do a couple tomato plants, then rather going through the trouble of doing it is to just go ahead and buy the couple plants that you want, if you can find the plants that you want.
Okay.
In your retail stores, excuse me, in the retail stores, you're lucky if they'll have maybe 15 varieties of tomatoes. A one seed catalog, a tomato seed catalog, has 450 varieties of tomatoes.
Yes.
They also have like 160, I think it was 185 varieties of different pepper plants. Everything from ornamental peppers to the ghost pepper. And 60 to 70 choices on eggplants. And this is all in one catalog. And that is not all inclusive. So that's the biggest advantage. And like I said, you can grow them. Another big advantage of them is that, especially from a catalog, is that you can order your seeds now. Retail stores, they usually don't get the seed packets in until after the Christmas season, because the garden sections are usually where the seeds are. Yeah. And that's where they put the Christmas stuff. So you have to kind of wait to get your seeds. And like I said, the selections are just too numerous to count, really.
Okay. So those are the advantages. What about, of course, the disadvantages?
Well, the big disadvantage is you're swapping your equity, which is sweat equity, for the sweat equity of the growers. So it's not cheap if you're going to just do a couple plants. If you're doing a lot of plants, then yes, it's cheap. A lot cheaper to do it that way. The catalog seeds are more expensive than the local seeds. Also, catalog seeds are usually sold by the number of seeds in the pack, whereas at the retail stores, they're sold by the weight, 30 milligrams, whatever. You have to have some place to put the seeds. So you may have to make one of the homemade grow stands to start them up, because you got to have the right environment for it. And you can't start tomato seeds outside in the wintertime, or pepper seeds, or whatever. Very few plants you can start. But the biggest disadvantage is the fact is it's time, but the kick is it's fun to see that life growing, you know.
Sure.
You get out there in the garden, I don't know about other gardeners like me, but many times I'm down there on my hands and knees waiting for the seeds to germinate, checking them out. And when they do, it's just a big kick, you know, it really is. Knowing that, hey, I started these plants from seed.
What's another source for getting these seeds?
Well, basically there's three main sources.
Okay.
First of all, the catalogs.
Right.
And you can go on the internet and look at them online, or you can order them, and they send them to you for free. There's a few companies that charge $5, very few. But with your first order, you get credit for the $5, so it ends up not costing you anything. And a lot of the catalogs are general catalogs, like these are, where it has vegetables in one section, and then flowering types in the other section. And they're full, good-sized pictures, and a detailed write-up about each of the plants.
Okay.
Another source, of course, is the retail store, where they got the different packets, but again, they're limited as to how much they could have on the shelves at any one time, the type of seeds. So they may have like 3 or 4 types of cucumbers. But in reality, there's probably 100, 150
or more
types of cucumbers. Another source is your feed and seed stores, Okay, now they sell the seeds, common seeds, by a scoop. Now this is vegetables. They don't usually mess around with flower seeds. They do have the packets, just like the retail stores. But on their vegetable seeds, they usually have scoops, which makes it really, really cheap to buy the seeds. And I also encourage people that when you order seeds from the retail, get them from the retail, or you order them from the catalog, or you get them from the feed and seed store, write down the year that those seeds are. Because if you don't use them all, you can put them in a refrigerator or freezer and they'll keep.
Okay. So how do you go about picking the seed that's best for you, though?
Well, again, excuse me. Again, cool season, warm season. On one of the previous episodes, we talked about planting cool weather crops.
I remember.
So if you're going to start your like beets, onions, lettuce, things of that nature, you want to start planting them just before the season starts cooling off. And as everybody knows, in the Mid-South, our springs are like that, and our falls are like that. It seems like we go from hot weather to cold weather. So we have a short growing season for the cool weather stuff. So the sooner you can start them, the better it is. And what you pick for growing is what you like.
All right.
Okay, for example, I love beets. But
Really?
but how many people see beets in the produce section of a supermarket? And I was over at one of the places, and I look at their green onions. And there was like 12 green onions. The bundle was about this big. My green onions, one onion is that big. So, and I like onions.
Okay.
My wife doesn't like me to eat onions, but I like onions. But the main thing is growing what you like. There's no need to grow something that, number one, that the family doesn't like.
Sure.
Number two, if you got limited space, grow the things that you like that's expensive. Bell peppers are expensive, but individually, 50 cents a piece. Yellow squash, if you like yellow squash, if you grow them, and they're easy to grow, then grow those. But don't waste your time on things you don't like because, well, it's just the nature thing. You're supposed to grow these things. If you don't like tomatoes, don't bother with them.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely appreciate that information, Mr. Tom.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.